I've got the garage cleared out and ready to go. Cash in hand, tools in the truck. Let's go get this thing. All right, guys, well, we're home. This is the 14-foot Mod V setup with a 6-horsepower Mariner motor and a galvanized trailer. No cracked ribs, no missing rivets, and no corrosion. This is a really good start. Nope, stripped it out. All right, these are gonna get drilled out. Victory. Safety chain for the motor, safety chain for drain plug. We got a drain plug, that's good. Come on. There we go. Okay, not too bad. Bunch of corrosion under it. I'm just gonna go ahead and see if I can run them all out. It's time to get this thing cleaned up and see what we're working with. So far everything looks really good. I didn't find any surprises. I'm going to back the boat down a little bit more so we're more flat here. Plug the back, fill this up with a couple inches of water, and then check the floor to see if we're getting any leaks on the bottom. I'm going to go into there with a permanent marker, mark them off, and then we'll know what we need to work with and fix. So I just went through and checked all the rivets underneath the boat. Overall, not bad at all. I saw maybe 3 leaking rivets, which from the condition of this boat, actually kind of surprised. Okay, so we're gonna start with this rivet here, and then we're just gonna go back and forth on all of them. Okay, you got it braced well? Ready. All right, let's try it out. So you got the backside one now? Okay. All right, you ready? The last step I want to do before I start working on the bottom of the boat is to clear out the foam in both of these benches. As I've been cleaning out the boat, I am getting particles of foam flowing out from the seats. It tends to pull up in the channels because it's all clogged under there. And this right here is what I was expecting to find. Nests. That is a full-on nest. That is all nesting material, all piled up in there. That is why I always check the foam inside the bench seats. For today's video, I'm fixing whatever this is going on with the trailer. I have no idea what's causing it. Right now, it's like tilted to the side. If I grab it by the top here, I can straighten it out pretty well. So it seems like it has the ability to be squared up. So what I'm seeing is that this is a tilt trailer. This pin here can be pulled back to allow this front of the trailer to tilt back. My thought right now is that if I can just tighten everything up, it should help with the twisting of this center beam here. Okay, that's better. It stabilized it. That made a big difference. Pretty straight on the front, and then now when I move it, I don't get nearly as much play right here. Okay. Perfect. All right, so now with full access to the trailer, I can double check all the bolts and connections, make sure they're all solid. I'm gonna pull these bunks, get them rewrapped. I'm gonna get the new wheels on, and then the trailer should be good enough where I can put the boat back on when I'm ready. Last thing I wanted to do was replace this winch. It seems to kind of be falling apart. On the top part here first. And there it is. After a quick bath, all cleaned up, this is looking absolutely killer. I'm gonna go ahead and keep prepping the bottom surface here, get this all ready for the epoxy, and we'll go from there. Using the wire brush, the circular one, to grind around the rivets. That way when the epoxy lays on top, if there's any like loose debris or particles, that's been cleared out so the epoxy can seep down into the rivet wells and really seal them up good. Found these sanding sponges actually work very, very well for roughing up the surface. Probably the softness, being able to get into all the different angles and stuff like that. I'm not looking to strip the paint, just rough it up because the paint's still good on the boat. All right, now that the boat is fully prepped, it's time to rinse it down and get it ready for epoxy. First thing I need to do is obviously rinse off all the sanding dust, and then I'm gonna apply some aluminum brightener. This is gonna remove any of the oxidation that may have formed after we expose the bare aluminum and get the boat perfectly ready for epoxy. It says to let it sit for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll be rinsing it off. The boat is completely cleaned down and prepped for epoxy. I'm gonna go ahead and let this sit outside for a couple minutes to dry off, and then we'll get it set back up on the stands and get the epoxy on the floor. The epoxy that I'm gonna be using today is the Coat It brand. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the tape and then apply the epoxy. We'll check back when it's done. I didn't have enough material to do a full bottom coating, but I was really only adding epoxy to make sure the rivets were sealed. So I decided to use the material I had and make sure every single rivet was perfectly puddled with epoxy and sealed up. For today's video, we're going to be prepping the remainder of the boat for paint, applying a coating of metal primer, and then I'm going to be showing you guys how I do a two-tone paint job on this boat. A quick tip, if you're using these cheap chip brushes, to get a nice brush stroke, what you can do is take the end of the brush and a pair of scissors and just cut yourself a nice straight line, so you can kind of just like shape it up if you notice anything out of place. I do find it leads to a cleaner brush stroke. All right, guys, it's the next day. The primer has dried completely. It is looking really, really good. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and get our first coat on of the gray, and then we'll come back to white stripe afterwards. So I have it on both sides now. I'm gonna give this a couple hours to dry and hopefully get the coat number 2 on tonight. At that point, I'm hoping to let it dry overnight and be able to peel all the tape off tomorrow to get the final look. All right, guys, the tape is off. It is looking really, really good. It's gonna need a little bit of cleanup, but I'm gonna wait until I flip the boat over to see what actually needs to get cleaned up. I'm gonna let this dry overnight. We'll get it back on the trailer and we'll take a look at the finished product. All in all, I am really happy with this paint style. I think this is gonna look really killer once we get it all complete. Well, after about 2.5 cans, it did a really great job getting the first coat of gray on the interior of the boat. There was just one spot that I got a couple runs with, and that was on the back transom, and that was 100% my fault. I was just way too close spraying it. I've got a pretty good process at this point for making really affordable but stable and long-lasting flooring using plywood, epoxy, and foam. At that point, snap it off. Now, as I strip this out, everything should just fall into place as needed. We'll start by measuring between our first set of ribs here. We're at about 15.5. So we got our first piece cut here. It should fit perfect. One thing you definitely don't want is OSB. This here. Do not get this, it'll absorb water immediately and fall apart on you. This is what we're looking for right here. 11/32 plywood. You want to find one with the least amount of voids. Those are just looking for trouble with water. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the straightest one I can find and go get it cut. All right, so I'm back in the truck now. Everything went really well. I'm happy with the aluminum I got. And I also found they had this outdoor Velcro. I'm thinking I could actually use this to attach the floors to the boat. This might be a nice way of doing it without having to drill into the ribs. I'll have to play around with that. If I pick a hole saw that has the same width as the notch, and then I line the bit here on the edge, that should notch it out pretty perfectly. Oh, much, much easier. That went so much easier. That's perfect. So at this point, we've taken the boat, did a leak test and found a bunch of leaky rivets, sealed them up using an air hammer, then coated the entire bottom of the boat with coated epoxy. That was a double tap of leak sealing to make sure there is no water coming in through the bottom rivets. On the interior of the boat, all of the rivets and seams were sealed up with glove-it epoxy. That way, if there was anything on the inside that may have been not showing from the bottom, we got that sealed up as well. After I did that, I did a Rust-Oleum paint job on the outside and inside. After that, I started working on the foam flooring. I have foam boards cut to fit in between each rib. It adds flotation in case water gets in the boat and also provides a better walking platform for the plywood to sit on. At this point, we have our front cover board and a hinge top lid. This is going to provide really killer storage once we get everything complete. For today's video, I'm going to focus on pulling all the wood out of the boat and getting it epoxy. So what I found works really well is just kind of drizzle it on first, and then spread it with your brush, and then it all just kind of lays down nicely. You can see the wood change color as it starts to absorb the epoxy, so it's pretty easy to make sure you're getting full coverage. Okay, so looks like 100 grams got me about 1/4 of one piece of wood. All right, guys, we are back out here the next day, and everything is looking perfect. All of the epoxy is cured, including my paintbrush onto my scale. There we go. Peel it off, because it just quite hasn't hardened up on the bottom yet, thankfully. So, close call on that one. For today's video, we're installing EVA foam flooring to the Jon Boat Build. Preparation for this video actually started last night. I went ahead and unrolled the first sheet of EVA flooring and stretched out across the boat to give it time to unravel and hopefully take out some of the curl that comes with foam when it's being shipped. Now, this is my first time using EVA foam from Amazon. The last boat I did, I spent the money and I got HydroTurf, and it was an extremely quality product. This is very much a budget build, so I want to see if this EVA foam is worth using. I purposefully painted over, so once this is down, it's going to be a nice clean edge. Now I'm just going to peel a corner off to get it started. Make sure we're right in position. I'm just going to start by applying just the one corner here, and then I can peel up from the back. Now with all the backing out, we're just gonna keep smoothing it out. Now, the fun part of making it all look nice. So we're gonna take a good portion of the bulk off here, just following the body line. Keep this straight edge pressed down, and I'm just gonna come lightly down to score it. I'm gonna do this a couple times. And you'll start to feel your blade drag into the boat. Now let's see if we can peel this off. That looks really good. Line this up in the front and then tuck it in. Perfect. Get that line down. And then now I can just peel this rest of it up and we'll lay it straight down. Now that is looking really, really good. All right, with all the floors done, let's go ahead and get this in the boat and see how it all looks, and then hopefully we have enough material to get some of the bench seats done. Okay, well, here's how it's looking with all of the floors done. Overall, I am really happy with this look. Now, I'm really hoping I have enough material to get some of these bench seats done. All right, we have to get really creative with the last little bits of scrap that we have. That one pretty much fits. I'll work on that one last. This is gonna be the difficult one. I think I might actually have a piece of scrap that's gonna work for this. This was one of the first pieces I cut and threw away and said, I'll never need it. Well, there you go. Guys, well, here it is. I was able to get both of the corner caps complete. We really got into a bit of a jigsaw towards the end there, but overall, I am so happy with how this turned out. So without further delay, I'm gonna take aluminum that looks like this and turn it into this. Let's get started. All right, so to get started, I'm gonna go ahead and pull these plates out of the boat, and the first thing I need to do is get them sanded down. That'll get rid of any of the rust and corrosion and get the surfaces ready for paint. Once I get the plates here prepped, I'm also gonna be pulling off the front face to this hatch here, and I'm gonna get that painted as well. I'm gonna go ahead and sand off all of the rust, corrosion, and everything on the plates here. We're gonna get these all painted up along with the front bench cover, and that's gonna get all of the painting done for the boat. Now, normally I would use aluminum brightener, but I'm all out. So acetone is definitely the next best thing. All right, with everything wiped down, we are good to paint. This is all looking really good. I'm gonna let this dry, then I'm gonna hit it with another coat, and these should be ready for installation. Okay, so everything lined up perfect. We got this reinstalled into the boat. Now, I may paint the screw caps just to hide them a little bit, but honestly, the stainless steel doesn't look bad, so I may just leave them just as like a little bit of an accent piece. Wow. Just getting those last couple items painted really ties this whole look together. Man, that really looks awesome. First one. Oh yeah, this looks a million times better. All right, so this is gonna be the first test using the larger size rivets. These are 1/2-inch rivets. Let's see if they fit. Oh, they fit perfectly. Wow, okay. So I had to switch my rivet tool tip to the largest one I had. I haven't actually used it yet, so let's see if this works and we'll go from there. Oh man, that is really nice. Oh, that is solid. All right, unfortunately my wireless mic died and I don't have time to charge it up. So we just gotta get this done. As I was saying, even though this is a two-handed rivet gun, it's a little more inconvenient, but it has a lot more power behind it. Some of the holes need to get opened up just slightly to fit. There we go. Other than that, these rivets have been working out exceptionally well. All right, so I went ahead and got the rivets into the seat mounts. Now I need to get these seat plates mounted to the front bench seat here. The first thing I want to try is riveting through these front holes here. I have a drill bit that should open these up just the right amount, and I made sure to get some pretty large grip length rivets to make sure that it can hold not only through the plate, but into the bench seat. So I'm going to go ahead and drill those 3 holes out, pop the new rivets in, and see how it works. All right, so with the seat bases completely installed, now I gotta prep this boat for delivery. My fantastic helper over here is gonna do the vacuuming. We're gonna get any stray aluminum cleaned up after last installation. I've got a couple spots of touch-up paint I wanna put on just to make sure it looks really, really nice. And then we should be ready to go. All right, well, she just finished vacuuming and I gotta say, it came out really, really nice. At this point, I am really happy and proud to call this boat complete. There is a lot more I could do to it still, but it's mainly just gonna be adding accessories. At that point, it's really up to the individual fishermen on how they wanna do it. All right, guys, well, with that being said, this is pretty much the end of the 1437 Jon Boat build. If you guys found this build helpful, don't forget to let me know by hitting that like button and let me know in the comments what you think. If you guys enjoyed this build series, let me know in the comments. Please share it around. I put a lot of work into it and I really want as many people to see it as possible. If you want to see more videos like this, I've got a lot of great projects in mind for this year.
And make sure you like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.